Boys, what is up? Here we are with another tier list, and this time we are going to be discussing the mage tier list. And of course, again, guys, this is just my opinion on how I see the game as a Mythical Glory player. The experiences I've had with these mages. So I mean, let's just get straight into it, and we'll just see where it goes from there on. So first off, the first mage we are going to run into is I mean, I guess you can play Esme mid, not necessarily great. I would say Esme mid is probably just bad because there's just a lot better mages, and you kind of want to get that wave clear going in mid lane so you can roam towards XP or towards MM or even towards jungle. So I would say Esme is not a good mage. She's good in XP as we've discussed before. She's pretty decent. She actually just got a buff, which makes her even better. But yeah, for mage, I would not recommend her. Then we have Julian. I would say Julian as a mage, doable. Again, I would rather see him in XP, but I think he's going into the B tier for the mages because he can still hold his own in mid lane. So there's that. It's something, okay? Then Bane mage, please just don't, don't do it. Don't do it. Not right now. He used to be viable as a mage, I guess, somewhere last year, but right now I would say hell no, hell no. All right, then up next we have Aurora. I would say Aurora is pretty meh. She's got decent damage, but getting people into your skills with everyone having dashes, it's probably not a good idea to pick Aurora. I think Aurora is just a B tier as well. Then up next we have Valentina. I think Valentina is between overpowered or strong. You know, I think it very much depends on matchups. If Valentina is gonna be OP or if she's gonna be strong. I think she's gonna go into the S tier here strong because she is matchup dependent if you want to be OP or not. In certain matchups you're gonna be very OP if you're playing Valentina. If you can get a good ult, I'm thinking like Estus ult. If you get an Estus ult on Valentina, that or a Digi ult, or I mean something like Atlas, like with the double dash she has, she's very OP. She has a lot of damage. She has a lot of utility. She has a fear. I mean, she has everything a mage needs basically. The only thing that is holding her back a little bit is the dependency on the ult, right? So I would say she deserves to be in an S tier, a strong S tier. If there was anything between SS and S, she'd be there. So up next, the next mage we have is Sicilian. So Sicilian, I think Sicilian is really strong. The only problem that Sicilian has is he scales for a long time. I would say Sicilian is probably an A tier if you can get to late game, and if you can reliably scale up, then you're gonna be an S tier. But thing is with scaling is like you never can super reliably scale. If your teammates go 0-9 in lane and you have to fend off, let's say, a 7-0 Dairoth or whatever, you're not gonna have a good time. You're not gonna have a good time because they are early game, you're late game. Do the maths, boys. Do the maths. Anyways, on to the next mid laner. I would say you did not consider the mid laner. Neither is Phoveus. Phoveus is an XP laner. Okay, then we have Cyclops. I think Cyclops is probably an A tier as well. Like he's got a really good single target burst with his second. But I don't think he deserves to be anything more than A tier right now because there are just better options. For example, Valentina is one of them. Um, he just did get a buff though, which gave him a lot of utility to work with. Like he has the cooldown, he has a lot of damage overall. So I would say, I mean, he's sitting in a comfortable A tier for me. Then up next we have Zask. I think Zask honestly deserves an S tier. I think Zask is very strong. Um, he's got a pretty decent survivability with his ult. The only thing is if you don't have ult, you're somewhat of a sitting duck. So actually, maybe I'll put him in A tier because of that. But Zask is one of the mages that I've played the most. I think for mid lane, I really enjoy Zask. Maybe that's why I was a bit biased and putting him in S tier. But I think Zask is definitely worthy of the A tier. I think he's very strong. Um, does very consistent damage in team fights. If you can ult in, that means they have to back out of that team fight, or they have to back off of your plant, or they can one shot it. That's been happening to me a lot recently. Them just one shotting my ult, and overall giving me a bad time. So yeah, that's a bit a bit of a sad part. Um, but you know what, we can work with it. Let me just oink. Wait, no, that didn't work. Nope, that's not working. Never mind. I'm not gonna do anything. Then up next, let's see. We have. s- Don't play Diggy Mid. Don't play Diggy Mid, guys. Don't play Diggy Mid. I've played Diggy Mid, and it's like when you're playing Diggy, you want to be roaming around the map. You want to be doing things. You want to help your teammates. You want to set up bombs everywhere in the jungle, so you have vision on the opponent. Don't play Diggy Mid. Okay, that's it. Don't play Diggy Mid. Amon Mid. Meh, meh. Play him in core if you want to play Amon. Play core. I just I just really don't like him in mid. Um, what do we have next? We have don't play Carmilla mid, please. Never play Carmilla mid. Just play Rome. Okay, I've seen someone play Carmilla mid, and it was kind of upsetting, you know, like actually upsetting. I was like, bro, this man could be doing so much in the early game. Carmilla is so good in the early game. Like this is something you have to remember. Carmilla's early game is insane. Okay, you want to be abusing that early game. You don't want to be sitting in your lane, farming or whatever. Okay, then up next, let's see. We have Eudora. Eudora, definitely going into the B tier. Meh. She can burst people down, sure, but you get an Athenos, can't do that anymore. Her range is kind of meh as well. They did give her a little buff though, a little buff to the second, I believe. So she got a little tiny bit stronger. However, I think she just gets outshined by many other mages as well. So yeah, not exactly great for me. Then up next we have got Alice. I think you can play Alice mid. The problem is like her early wave clear is not very good. I think I'm also gonna put her into a meh. I think she needs the EXP, so I think XP lane is just a better option for her. Um, her damage overall is kind of low in the early game as well. Her mana issues are there as well. Um, I would say probably don't play Alice in mid, honestly. Then up next we have got. I guess Aldous is a mid now. I think Aldous is pretty good mid because you can scale fast, you can stack up fast. Of course you need your mage, but if you're gonna play Aldous, you want to start off in mid so you can get the stacks faster, and then after that you can swap with your actual mage. So I don't know if Aldous belongs on this list because he's not technically a mid laner, but um, it's good to go Aldous into mid, get those stacks, and then switch with the mage who was in XP lane. But apart from that, I don't know. I wouldn't play Aldous mid personally. Okay, up next we have Faramis mid. I think Faramis mid is meh. I think you can use him as a good counter pick towards glue. If you're playing mid and you see a glue, you could play Vexana as well, but it depends. If they have a burst comp, Faramis mid can be good. If they have a glue, Faramis mid can be good. Apart from that, not very good. I would say only pick Faramis if you're gonna counter pick the enemy team. Then up next we have her. I don't wanna say Florin. I don't think Florin would ever be played in mid lane. I guess we could put the people that we think could potentially go mid but shouldn't go mid in the D tier, like Roams, like this. And actually, I think Angela is kind of just bad to play in mid. You want to play a roam. She does have like a decent amount of damage in the early game. But then like you really want a proper mage. So I would say it's bad or never play this. Bad or no, never play this actually. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Florin, same thing. Never played this. I've played Florin mid lane. It's not a good time. I'm telling you guys. And you need your mage to deal damage. You know what I mean? Gusion mid, no, please don't. Just play him core. Just play him core. Gord, okay. Um, for Gord, I think Gord is just meh as well. Honestly, he's got a really good team fight potential with his ult. Okay, very good team fight potential. However, other mages just outshine him. He has no mobility. He's got a decent amount of damage, but like the only utility he has, I mean, he has his slow, he has his stun, but with all the dodges that people have right now in the game, it's like your stun is gonna get dodged. You know, if you're playing against somewhat decent people, your stun is gonna get dodged. You're not gonna be able to hit that. Then let's see. What else do we have? We have got Harith. You know what? I have seen a Harith absolutely pop off. If you get good at this champion, like if you're actually a really strong player, I would say he's probably an S tier. But overall, I would say he's A tier because he's got good mobility, he's got good damage. Um, the only thing that he's kind of lacking is a form of tankiness. But with that mobility, you can just mostly survive everything. He might be a little bit hard to play, but I think he's very strong. I think he's very strong. Like if you know how to play this guy, you should probably play him. That's how strong I think he is. Let's see. Up next we have what Harley. I think Harley in mid is probably meh. His kind of thing is like surprising people, catching them off guard, throwing an ult on them, and just bursting them down. I don't think you can really do that as well in mid lane. So you probably just want to play Harley core if ever. I have tried him once in mid lane and it kind of worked out. Like because I'm not really a core player. I don't really enjoy core, but I would say Harley mid is B tier. It's a very decent B tier. Um, Up next we have got okay. Don't play Joy. Okay. Just don't. Just don't. Her early game is decent, um, but she is very high effort, low reward. That's the problem with Joy. I've said it ever since the beginning, ever since she came out. She is very difficult to play properly, and the reward you get for playing her properly is not enough. Like if you hit all of your notes, the payout of the ult is you get a bit of shield and you get a bit more damage. And hitting all those notes in a team fight is harder than it looks because you have to make sure that when you dash, you hit the note, and then on top of that, you don't want to dash into danger, but you have to dash because your dash falls off. Your dash is gone within like a second. So I would say Joy, people are banning her, and I have never understood why. I've played her, I've played against her, I've played with her. I've never seen a Joy that completely popped off, unless it was like against a very bad early game team. But I'd say never play Joy, honestly. Um, Then up next we have Kadita. I mean, okay, Johnson Mage. No, please don't. Okay, Kadita. I think Kadita's burst potential is extremely good. The only downside with Kadita is you have to run Petrify. If you don't run Petrify, people can just dash or flicker away from you as soon as you're trying to ult because the ult has quite a delay on it. That's a problem I have with Zask as well. Sometimes when you want to ult, it takes so long that you just die before you're able to ult. With Kadita it's a bit different. She has her passive as well with the regen, which is nice. I think overall Kadita is just she's just a good mage. Um, like if you enjoy playing her, play her. Uh, Overall very solid. Okay, up next we have Kagura. So with Kagura, it's like she's between A and S. I think I would actually place Kagura into an S tier because Kagura has so much mobility. She has a lot of damage. I think she's overall a very solid mage. And she definitely deserves to be in the S tier. If you're really good at Kagura, it's gonna be super hard for the enemy team to kill you, to actually like actually take you down. And I think that's why Kagura deserves to be in the S tier. Then up next we have, let's see, who do we have? Who do we have? Lunox. Okay, so Lunox, same thing. I think she also. I'm actually considering between S tier and A tier for Lunox because I think she has a lot of potential. She is very safe with her ult. She also does a lot of damage with her ult. The only problem is if you don't have your ults up, you're kind of a sitting duck. Um, However, you would play around your ults. So ult is also not that big of a cooldown. It's like 25, 26 seconds, I think. I've tried her out, and I actually got a maniac in the first game I've played her. So I think she's probably gonna deserve to be in the S tier. I think Lunox is a bit of an underrated mage. I'm not really sure why she doesn't get played as often. Um, because I think she's actually very solid hero. Then up next we have Lo Yi. Dude, good Lo Yi, a good Lo Yi, especially in good team play, is in the double S tier. Like hands down, she is so good. If played by an amazing player, if she's played by a regular player, I would say she's S tier. But if she's played, okay, so let's put her in S tier because let's face it here, we're all regular players. Okay, put her in the S tier. She's very solid. Like she has the potential to CC an entire enemy team. She has a lot of damage. She has potential to do amazing ganks. And that's why Lo Yi deserves to be in the S tier. Then up next we have got Lilia. And see, the thing is with Lilia, guys, I'm not really sure where to place Lilia. I think I really have to play this. I have to play this hero. You don't see a lot of Lilias, but if you see one, they're very strong. Um, so I'm really not sure where to place her from my experience of playing against her because I haven't played her yet. My experience of playing against her, she's good. I think she's good. She has a lot of damage output. She has the potential to hit the enemy team, hit the complete enemy team as well. Um, she has her ult, which resets her health, which is really good for fights, team fights. You go low HP, boom, you got your health back. That's it, right? You can get back into the fray. Um, but I'm not really sure on exactly where to place her because I don't have enough experience with her. So you guys can correct me in the comments down below. Like, what do you think of her? What do you think of Lilia? Yeah, I mean, from what I've played against A tier, that's it. All right, up next we have got Nana. Nana, I would say Nana is pretty good. I would say Nana is good. Like playing against a Nana is just like the reason you play Nana is to tilt your enemy team. Like you tilt the enemies, and goddamn, you just don't 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 play against. I mean, I don't want to play against Nanas because of the Molinas. He can put down two Molinas, which cuts off like half of the lane. Well, one Molina cuts off half of the lane. Two Molinas cut off an entire lane, and she can put down two. And that's just kind of silly. Like you should never be able to put down two Molinas because I mean I don't want to walk into a Molina. I don't want to get CC'd. Really annoying. Please don't make me get CC'd. But yeah, I mean just because of that, I think she's an A tier. Her damage is pretty good. Her passive is very strong because like I mean if you're an assassin, if you're a Hayabusa, you're gonna go ult her, and then boom, she's passive. You're gonna be a little bit upset, to say the least. All right. Anyway, A tier Nana. Let's move on to the next one. We have got. Let's see. Kimmy's not a mid. Matilda's not a mid. Okay, here. Don't play Matilda mid. Don't play Kimmy mid. Okay. And then we have Odette. Odette. I think Odette is pretty good. I think she deserves to be in an A tier. Her ult, of course, is very strong in a team fight. Like imagine you're ulting in a team fight, and either the enemy has to back off, they have to burst you down, or they have to just die. That's only their two options really. They can't really tank another ult unless they're a tank. Like if you're an MM, you're gonna die in 2 seconds. If you're a mage, you're gonna die in 2 seconds. If you're a core, maybe you'll die in 2 seconds, maybe not. But I would say that probably A tier. Very strong ult for team fights, especially if you're fighting in the jungle or for a lord or for a turtle. Um, very strong ult. Paired with flicker, paired with the dash. Then her base spells are pretty decent too. She has the bounce. She's got a decent amount of damage, a pretty good amount of damage. So probably A tier. The only thing that is keeping her back is mobility. Um, if she had mobility, she'd be an S or SS even. Okay, up next, we have got, let's see, what's our next mage here? Vale. No, Farsa. Okay, Farsa. So I think Farsa, either she's going into the double S or into the S. I think actually Farsa will be our first mage that I'm gonna put in SS tier for this list, because I think Farsa, her ult is super strong. Like with an ult alone, you can kill an MM, you can kill an enemy mage. She has a lot of mobility with her bird. If you just use it smart, you just don't lose or you don't die. Then her base spells are pretty strong as well. Like even with base spells, she can like 50% someone and they have like a 3 or 4 second cooldown. I think Farsa definitely deserves to be in the double S tier, and I don't understand why people don't play her more. I think Farsa is one of those picks that is like people underestimate it, and I don't really know why. Because every time I play against the Farsa, she's a super pain in the butt. So yeah, Farsa double S tier for me, easy. Then up next we have Vale. So for me, Vale deserves to be in the S tier as well. I believe he's got a huge amount of damage. Even if he doesn't have ult up, he can just walk away from people because of his passive. His passive makes him really fast. I think it's really a good passive, because mobility is one of the things that are the most important in the game if you want to do well. Um, Mobility, damage, he's got both. The only thing that he doesn't have is a dash, which makes him a little bit weaker. If he had a dash, he'd be in double S tier as well. But for me, Vale, like I've played Vale maybe like 11 or 12 games, and I've won 10 of them. So 10 out of 11 or 10 out of 12 games on Vale, and most of them, I just popped off, and I think that's why it deserves to be in an S tier. Maybe an A tier, because in comparison to the other four, he kind of does a little bit less. Okay, maybe let me put him in A tier. I think he's good. I think he's strong. Okay, but maybe not S tier strong. Then up next we have got Valir, and Valir is a double S tier because of his kit. His kit is extremely annoying. He's got the slows, he's got the stuns, he's got the wall that melts people down. He has an immunity, well, not immunity. He can cleanse CC. Um, Valir is definitely one of those mages that I really just don't want to play against it, especially as a melee hero. If you're another mage, okay, Valir is like you can deal with it. But if you're a melee hero, if you're a tank, if you're anything but not an enemy mage, or maybe an MM, but even as an MM, you might be in trouble. Playing as Valir is an absolute pain in the butt. Okay, absolute pain in the butt. So Valir double S tier just because of that, because he's such a pain in the ass. Um, Up next we have Selena. I think uh, Selena as a mage, probably meh. I would say if you want to play Selena, I think you're better off as Rome, because you can catch people off guard so much more. She has a lot of damage. She can burst people down even at level 3. So, or even level 3 or level 4. Level 3. I think level 3 she can start bursting people down. So I would say she's strong. However, maybe a little bit more strong as a roam, or maybe she doesn't exactly have a spot in the meta right now. Um, but I have seen some very good Selena players. I tried her like twice myself, and I didn't really perform well. But I've seen some very good Selena players, and if you're playing against a good Selena, you're bound to have a bad time. But you don't see her often, and it's because the meta is kind of not really favoring her. So that's why I'm putting her in a B tier. Then up next we have Vexana, and Vexana, I would say Vexana is a good mage. If you're playing against Glue, she's gonna be in the SS or the S tier. But if you're generally just playing, I would say Vexana is just good. I think she has a decent amount of damage. I think the Knight, the ult, it's pretty cool. The fear is good. The passive is really good. I really, really like Vexana passive. Pushing out waves with the Vexana passive is extremely good, extremely easy. Uh, but she has no mobility, not at all, none whatsoever. If something jumps on her, she probably dies. So that's why I'm putting her in A tier. Could be better, you know. Then up next we have Xavier, and I've always thought Xavier, if in the hands of a pro, is gonna be double S tier. However, he's never in the hands of a pro, so we're gonna put him in S tier. He's strong. Uh, Xavier's second is super underrated when you have a tank. Okay, I play Belleric a lot, or I used to play Belleric a lot. If I had a Xavier and he threw down his little zone and I got that speed buff, god damn, that is juicy. That is actually juicy. But Xavier players never use it like that. That's why I'm putting him in S tier, not in double S tier. If people knew how to like speed up their tanks when they're going for a set instead of always trying to go for the root even though people are out of range, the Xavier world would be a better place. I'm telling you guys. But overall, Xavier, good damage, good, decent amount of CC. His ult has the potential to hit an entire team, which is nuts. Can deal like 2,000 damage to an entire team just with ult. Um, his base spells are good, low cooldown. So Xavier S tier for me. Then up next, I think the last one for today is Eve. And Eve, before the nerf, definitely double S tier. Right now, S tier. She has a good area of effect slow, AoE slow. She has a speed up that slows the enemy if you're getting your thing. Ice Queen wand. Then her ult. I like the ult. The only problem is like you are immobile when you're using your ult. So if your teammates are not there, you're probably gonna get screwed. But of course, as an Eve player, you have to play a little bit smart. It's kind of part of the Eve kit. You have to outsmart your opponents. Um, and that's why she deserves an S tier for me. All right, let's see. Did we miss anything? No, 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 no. I have to make sure that I didn't miss anything, boys, because last time Chang'e. Oh my god, I missed you, Chang'e. I'm sorry. Chang'e. Okay, so Chang'e for me, meh. For me, meh. Like the only thing she has is her speed up and her ult. I think the speed up and the ult, that's like the entire Chang'e kit. Like her first, like don't even think about it. I think Chang'e is meh. I think she's just meh. Like her ult is really strong, but then if all you've got going for you is your ult, then you're kind of not in a good position for me. So I would say Chang'e just deserves a B tier. Just plain and simple. Alright, let's see. Did we miss anyone else? Xborg mid, I wouldn't really do it. Just meh. If you're really, really desperate for an AD mid, I guess you could play Xborg mid. But I think we are done with the mids here. That are those are all the mid laners, all the mages, or mage likes. Um, and I think yep, we are done. Indeed, Rafaela again. Don't. And honestly, Rafaela is more like a Diggy level. Like she can be played mid, but it's just not good. All right, boys, and that is all for this tier list for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, guys, this is my opinions. If you disagree, that is fine. However, It is my opinion. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.